Today I'm going to show you 5 space-saving organizing techniques that you can use on your pantyhose in order to save space, organize them, hang them, and even travel with them. So let's start out simple and easy here. First of all, I'm going to fold the pantyhose over in half and fold them from top to bottom once. And from here we can either, let's do one more time and finally one last time. So that's a classic flat fold, right? If you want to stack them in drawers. This is an okay way to do it, but I think we can do a lot better, a lot quicker here. So yep, I've been out shopping for pantyhose today. Store clerk surprisingly didn't look at me strange. I guess we live in a very progressive world. Let's do a file fold here next. So I'm going to fold the pantyhose over in half from side to side here again. For this fold we can fold in a crotch if you want to. But what I would like to do here first is just split it in half again. Fold it from top to bottom or bottom to top from here. I think let's fold it in half again. It just makes them a lot smaller and easier to work with here. Now, at this point, we are ready to start splitting it into 3 parts. But we're going to start folding from the end with all the openings and folds. So we fold down about 1/3 to the length. And then we fold it over one more time like so. From here you can stretch it out and make it look a little bit beautiful like this. And this goes great in your organizing boxes. This is actually quite fantastic for shelves as well. But I do like it specifically for drawers because it's so easy to get an overview of this. Apologies, I just have boxers. I am after all a man, so yeah, my lack of pantyhose must be excused here. Surprisingly many hoisteries for being a man because of you guys. These were quite cheap though, so you can see the one leg is actually longer than the other. Besides file folding, I am also a big fan of rolls if you've been watching the channel. Now rolls you can use in both shelves and drawers, and they actually work for travel as well. So in order to roll our pantyhose, we want to again fold them over in half from side to side. It's kind of a returning theme here throughout the video. And from here, instead of just starting to roll now, it's a lot of work, so I would rather fold them in half from top to bottom again. Like this, and then we start rolling from the end with all openings. That's just to make it look better, but also it's more weight in this end, and that means that it will be supported better inside here. So once you roll it up like this, you can pretty much store it like this, or you can go ahead and, again, I'm substituting socks here for pantyhose. You can leave them laying down in like little boxes like this, or you can take them standing up like this as well. I like them standing up the most because it's a lot more easy to see. Now this actually works quite well for travel too. Now if you're going to take this traveling, I generally would put them in a packing cube, and that is because pantyhose, they have such a tendency to rip. I can just feel my little skin on fingers starting to tear into this already. But packing cubes, yeah, if you insist on not using packing cubes, putting a hair tie or something over it can be quite nice as well, because it will keep them together as a little bit of a sized up hairband particularly. But yeah, packing cubes works great with this. Now an alternative that saves even more space than this, as well as keep them quite well together, it's going to be the pocketed roll or ranger roll, whatever you want to call it. It is essentially the space-saving roll. So we can do this a couple of different ways. I want to show you my favorite way to do it. So in order to do this, we need to flip the top hair of the waist inside out. And you wouldn't think we need a lot of room for this, but I would go actually as far as probably not less than 3 inches. I'd rather go on like the tall side, better than the small one. So about 4.5, 5 centimeters, somewhere along those lines. Check the back side here as well when you flip it inside out like this. And then from here, we're going to fold them over in half again. Can you guess that? Could you have guessed it? Surprise, surprise. And like I said, you can start rolling here, but who has the time for that? So instead, just fold it over in half. It doesn't do any damage at all. And again, we can fold in the crotch here if it sticks out. This one is so crumbled up together that we don't need to. In either case, we're going to start rolling here. And we don't need to roll it tightly here because we have a little bit of room up top here to work with. But you could press it down quite heavily. Just make sure that you don't damage the pantyhose in the process. And I'm going to lift it up, and we're going to wrap this around the rest of the roll here. So that's going to hold it in place. We added a little extra space here so that we don't stretch out the elastics. So once you've wrapped it over on one side, just turn it around here, and we wrap it over the other side as well. Now, as you can imagine, while this is quite good, it's awesome for travel, and it's awesome for placing inside your boxes as well, it has the exact same shape, right? But yeah, you can see it kind of stretches a little bit on this. So what I want to do is show you a very slight alternative that I think works even better. Once we have flipped the waist here up top, inside out, and folded this over in half from side to side, instead of folding in half and rolling, what I'd like to do instead here is fold it over in half first, like we did in the beginning, but then also fold it over one more time, like this, and then fold it over one more time up so that it meets just the bottom of the elastic here. Now at this point, I think we can fold it over one more time in half, but if it doesn't like line up so that this is about half, you could also adjust it to like maybe fold it in thirds twice. But in either case, you want it to match about the waist there. So at this point, we're essentially gonna stick this part and we're gonna wrap it inside the top here. So in order to do that, they need to kind of match in size. So this far needs to be down here. So I think for this one, we could do about thirds. You could fold it in half, fourths, whatever as well. But like that, so that it matches. And now when we wrap it over, you're going to see the difference here. I'm going to do both at the same time with my fingers like this. And we're just going to adjust it a little bit. Do that famous Norwegian massage on it, as I call it. So I'm just going to adjust it here. If you look at it now, you can see there is a lot less stretching in the elastics. So I think this is the way to go if you want to fold them up like this. And this is also for your drawers and dresser as well. You can store them like this. Ideally not long term, since it does stretch a tiny bit, but it's definitely better than the previous roll that I showed you. Now, there is of course the option to hang these. You guys seem to love learning how to hang stuff, so let's do it with pantyhose as well here. There is like an elephant in the room that I just want to quickly cover here, and that is going to be like the fifth alternative, or what I should say, to fold up pantyhose. It's going to be the knot. So the knot is a quick and dirty way to do it. It does work like in a pinch, but what you do is essentially fold the pantyhose again over in half, and then we've kind of find the middle point here. And what we're going to do is essentially make like a common knot to just pull it through like that, and then don't tighten it up a lot. And from here you can hang them like this. It's quick, it kind of works, but just make sure that you tighten it up a lot. Ideally, don't store it long term like this, but it works quite well for pegs and just stuff you can hang it from. But as hooks too would be awesome for this. But like I said, it's not ideal. If you do decide that you want to hang these, please consider this first. These are quite thin, so I would rather go with some that are a little bit thicker so that they don't like stretch out over time. But the easiest way to hang them would obviously be, again, to fold them over in half from side to side. And then we take our hanger and we pull the pantyhose. Let's do about halfway through, a little bit less perhaps. Now, this is pretty much the best way you can do this if you insist on doing it. I wouldn't hang them just straight up and down because they tend to stretch out a lot over time, especially. But like short term, or if you really love hanging stuff, this is a good way to go about it. Also, cascading hangers are awesome for this. That way you can save a bunch of space by hanging a bunch of different pantyhose on the same hanger. But if you have the option and space, I would rather roll them if I were you. In a pinch, you could probably use one of these like hanging shelves as well. Just place them in one of those and you should have them hung essentially as well, right? But yeah, it's up to you really. If you really want to care for these pantyhose, you definitely want to store them folded. And just for some care tips here as well, like I said, boxes are amazing. They will protect them from getting snagged too easily. Also, when you fold them, you don't want to place them too close together. You know, that kind of makes a little risk of them snagging on each other as well. Straighten them out definitely if you can, so that they don't like get crumbled up together. For actual washing these, definitely hand wash them if you can in cold water and then air dry them. If you have to use a washing machine or if you simply don't have the time, I would put them in a garment, like delicates bag first. That way they will actually last a little bit longer in the washing machine. And again, delicate wash is this pantyhose's best friend. So next here, I'm going to go ahead and fold up some stockings. And if you haven't seen my video on how to fold socks, you're going to love that. It's so cool. Next up here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold some stockings. So if you want to first learn 5 tips on how to fold pantyhose from a man, and then learn more tips on stockings from this Norwegian guy on the internet, you can check that out here once it's ready. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.